welcome. This is this week's Tuesday Live. I am your host, Lucas Simmons, here with you every Tuesday for a quick 15-minute chat on a topic that has to do with the main theme for the month. And here on all social media channels for the month of February, we are focusing in on thyroid health. And the thyroid, is such an important piece of the puzzle when it comes to figuring out how your body is doing in moving through stress. That is my specialty, helping people reduce the burden of stress. Yeah. And that can look in so many different ways. So first things first, I'm a holistic nutrition practitioner. I am based on Treaty 7 territory in the land where the foothills begin to lead up to the Rocky Mountains. I'm glad to be here and thankful for this chance to have a little chat with you on these Tuesdays. So this is not medical advice. If you do struggle with your thyroid health, first things first, let's be smart about it. Go get it checked out by your medical team. But know this, when we're talking about ways to move through the burden of stress, any metabolic issue that isn't working well, or your thyroid struggling, be it autoimmune, be it just underactive thyroid, be it overactive thyroid, any of these above pieces, it's a surefire sign that something's not right in the body. And nutrition is one of those pieces you can put in place to support your body in better being able to move through that daily stress and grind of being a human. So I'm really glad you're here today. I hope you have questions at the end of this. Pop them down below, or send me a message, a private message, and we will get that answered for you. So the curious connection between the liver and your thyroid. So guess what? You are a closed loop system. Let's first really marvel at the fact that your body is absolutely all integrated, and what happens in one part of the body has a potential of impacting and being felt by every other single organ you have in that body. And the thyroid and your liver, along with your adrenals, your pineal gland, your hypothalamus, your reproductive organs, they are all part of the glandular endocrine system. And that is like a closed loop system. And I'll tell you, this is how I usually describe it with clients. Think of it as a fan belt. So you've got a fan belt in the car, and you've got different gears and different pieces of machinery that are within that fan belt. For example, your thyroid. Yeah, she's in that fan belt. So is your liver down here. Well, so are your adrenals, which are back here. And so is your pineal gland, which governs sleep. And so is your hypothalamus, which regulates the fight or flight and rest and digest. Yeah. And so on and so forth. Lots of different organs in that fan belt. Now, within that fan belt framework, if one of those organs is out, it's pulling all of the other organs with it. So if something's being felt at the thyroid, the liver is feeling it too. So are the adrenals. And now you can start to impact the pineal gland, the hypothalamus, the pituitary. What else is in there? Oh, your ovaries, your testes, like all of these things, right? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you are a gloriously orchestrated human being. Way to go. Good work, you. But let's really zero in on the thyroid and the liver. Here's the deal. Thyroid is responsible for the metabolism in your body. That means the taking in of ingredients, the doling out of ingredients, and metering out the energy it takes to get you through the tasks of the day. So your metabolism is working well when a bunch of other markers are like, check mark, feeling good, feeling good, feeling good. Some of the bigger markers are you digesting well? Do you have pretty balanced moods? When stress shows up, can you move through that stress pretty easily? Do you have, do you have cold hands and feet? Then that could be related to the thyroid. Other really obvious thyroid stuff is when hair starts to thin. Some other signs that can show up are cracked heels, dry skin, perpetually dry skin that's really hard, even though you're in Alberta and you slather on that cream, it's still really dry. Those types of things. Now, your thyroid regulates also digestion. It regulates your sexual pleasure, and you actually need thyroid things and histamine things to work well in order to have pleasurable activities that come to fruition with your sweetheart or yourself. I'm not going to judge. Yay, self-love. Yeah. So as you can tell, the thyroid's kind of involved in a lot of different things. The thyroid, every single cell of your body has a receptor site, which means a thyroid hormone can come and dock on that cell, every single cell in your body. So your thyroid has the potential of impacting every single function of every single cell and every single organ in your body. Yeah. It's your main engine, kitten. It is the main engine. And part of how it relates to the liver, they're closely connected. Let's get into it. So your thyroid makes T4, it makes a little bit of T3, and it makes a bunch of other things as well. Calcitonin, and it has a part to play. It doesn't actually make thyroid stimulating hormone. That's your pituitary that does that. Anyway, it has a piece to play in so many different hormonal functions in the body. And remember, hormones are the way your body makes telephone calls to have things happen. So the liver, why is it involved? Well, the liver needs thyroid hormones for some of the functions that the liver does. And if the hormone production if the production of thyroid hormones starts to wane, that can have a slowing down impact on the liver. It can slow down some of its function. So liver actually makes some of your thyroid hormones, and more than that, actually converts the inactive form to the active form. The majority of the conversion of T4 to T3 happens in the liver. T4 is a hormone your thyroid makes, but T3 is the active version that you need to get things done in the body. Interesting. So that conversion to make T4 become T3, that happens in the liver, a lot of it. Some of it happens in the kidney, you have a bit that also happens in muscle tissues, but the bulk of it happens at the liver level. So when there's a thyroid issue, you need to look at how T4 is, how T3 is, how that conversion rate is going, and that can give you a bit of a deeper insight into, is the problem with the thyroid, or is it actually a problem with the liver doing some of those conversions? Interesting. So other things that the liver does in relation to the thyroid, it stores, it moves out spent hormones, it transports hormones, and hormones themselves, thyroid hormones, like I said, have a direct impact on the liver. So in the scenario of when the thyroid is slowing down, oh, another thing, yeah, your liver also binds, it's called thyroid globulin, thyroid binding globulin. It binds certain compounds to your thyroid hormones to get them to transport further so you can circulate the thyroid hormone equally over the course of the body. So hopefully your liver's working well to do that piece too, so you don't have all the thyroid taken up in one small area. It's to help distribute over to the course of your body. So like all things in the body, you need balance, right? So in the scenario of when the thyroid is slowing down, what's happening? First things first, when the thyroid is slow, you start to slow down in the production of bile. The production of bile and bilirubin is actually mediated by thyroid hormones. They call those shots. It's the liver that does it, but it's the thyroid that does it. Okay, we're gonna do this piece now, body. If your thyroid's slowing down, that call to make bile and bilirubin actually starts to slow down. Whoops. Well, thyroid is starting to slow down. Now you can have an impact on the liver function, and it starts to contribute because you're slowing down in the production of those thyroid hormones. How they get the liver to do things also starts to slow. So now you start to have what they call a sluggish liver function. So this is where the trouble lies. Now you have an increased amount of stuff your liver has to deal with and a slowed down ability to get rid of it, to do the detoxification work. And there's a couple of different stages to the detoxification at the liver level. You have to bag the garbage and you have to take the garbage to the curb. Bagging the garbage is governed by thyroid hormones in great part. If your thyroid is starting to slow, now you can't bag the garbage very well. Now you bag the garbage at a slower rate than you used to. So now you start to build up on too much garbage. It's like there's I remember the garbage strikes in Toronto when I lived there. Oh, you don't want a garbage strike. It starts to stink up the joint. Heck no. So when you react to all of the things, if you're reacting to so many different types of foods, that is the body's protective mechanisms coming into place. And it's typically an indication that the liver's having a super duper hard time and her workload is too high and she's moving too slowly through some of that work. Possibly, quite possibly, please go get it checked out by your medical team to make sure and rule out other things. But one of the reasons is a slowed down thyroid. So now you're not detoxifying well. Okay. Well, what contributes to a sluggish liver? Yeah, slowed down thyroid making of hormones for sure, but hormones that are mimickers, from our environment. So they're not true hormones, but they mimic our hormones. So estrogen mimicking hormones. So things, or sorry, estrogen mimickers that are in our environment. Pesticides, terrible for all hormonal functions in the body. And they contribute to slowing down of the thyroid because they add to your internal burden of stress. They mimic estrogen and they start to throw hormones off balance. When hormones are off balance, that takes the liver's job. The liver's the one that balances out hormones. Well, now her workload has just doubled and tripled. Sorry. So BPA, phthalates, parabens, some of your natural hair care products or personal body care products. Oh, look at those parabens. That is one of the places to start reducing that impact. Hormone mimickers can potentially increase what's called your thyroid stimulating hormone. That is a hormone made by your pituitary that stimulates the thyroid to make the thyroid hormones. Yeah, TSH is not a thyroid hormone. I know, but it stimulates the thyroid to make hormones. Anyway, estrogen mimickers can potentially increase the production of TSH. The more TSH you make, the more you prod the thyroid to produce hormones. That is sometimes what is in a scenario of autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's, where it's undermining or it's slowing down the function of the thyroid, or Graves', where there's an increase in the production of thyroid hormone. That can often be linked to, well, sometimes it can be a problem with the pituitary, so that needs to be ruled out. But also it can be because of that load of those estrogen mimicking contents we have currently living in the toxic soup we call life. Oh, I'm adding to the stress of it. I'm sorry. But there's a lot of things that we have to contend with in our environment. Heavy metals can do that too. There's a lot of stuff that our body has to move out. We just need to bolster up our liver's function so she can properly do her detox work that she needs to do. Other things that contribute to sluggish liver if you're not digesting well. Ooh, child, that is one of the biggest components of the workload of the liver. If you have leaky gut, that is quite possibly the biggest one. Underperforming digestion is one, but leaky gut is the other. Now there's a bunch of stuff coming into your system and your immune system has to deal with it and filter it out and figure out what it's going to do with it. Do you know who's the master kingpin of your immune system? Your liver. Your liver mounts your immune system response. Again, can I make it clearer that the liver is where all humans can benefit supporting? Not aiming to get it detoxifying more, but support it so it can detox the way she wants to. Nourish your liver. Fatty liver disease. Fatty liver disease is a super complicated one that we cannot get into today, but fatty liver disease contributes to a slowing down and a sluggishness at the liver level, and it is often tied into an inability to recognize carbohydrates and to get insulin. There's just so many levels to it. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, very different than fatty liver disease that comes from steady and long-term ingestion of alcohol, two completely different diagnoses. But non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is a surefire sign that the liver's having a hard time and its workload is pretty high. And that's a metabolic issue, PS. Okay. So what is contributing to your thyroid slowing down? Well, other than what we've mentioned, that is slowing down your liver. Now, when the liver is slowed down, you have a hard time converting T4 to T3. So now you're adding more stress into the system because when you're slowing down the thyroid function, you're slowing down your metabolism and you're taking your thyroid offline and you're going to your backup generator. Well, your backup generator is your adrenals. So now you're putting more stress on your adrenals. When the adrenals are called up to bat and they are just supposed to be the guys that sit on the sidelines all the time and only come up when there's a call for them. Now these guys are coming up all the time and they're just supposed to be a backup generator. They're not supposed to be your main fuel source. So we need to do some work to figure out and make the liver function work a little bit better so we can optimize that conversion of T4 to T3 so we can get your thyroid back in line and take some of the pressure off of the adrenals. Because the deal is you turn on the adrenals too often, they start to contribute to what I'm calling the internal burden of stress. And the more internal stress there is, the more you actually shut down thyroid and the more you're now relying on your adrenals. So it's kind of a snowball effect, right? It can really start to add up. So that's fun, Luca. When you've worked, here are some of the things. When you've worked on thyroid, but you're still feeling some of the side effects, or you're taking medications and they're not working, it really bears going back to your medical team and saying, I'm taking this and I still feel this, this, this. What's going on? Is my liver converting the T4 to T3 well? Am I able to utilize, can my cells actually hear the thyroid hormones? Are they receptive to what the thyroid hormones are doing? And can we get a little bit more support into the liver? So that is what this all means. When your thyroid is struggling, very often the liver is right there with her and she's taken the bundle of extra stress with her. So whenever we're looking at supporting the thyroid, there needs to be a concerted effort in actually helping support the liver as well. And really nourishing the liver and supporting those detox functions to work well. So what are your solutions? Well, if you're struggling with thyroid stuff, send me a message. And then I will share with you, if you're ready to start addressing this thyroid thing you've got on the go, hit me up with a message. And then I will share with you some things I have or places you can go if you'd rather do some free stuff. If you want free stuff, I'm talking about thyroid all month long. But when you're tired of trying to figure it out on your own and you just want someone to light the way for you, hit me up. There's a class happening. It's a one-day class in March. I do one-on-one, lots of different solutions at the ready to help you through this. So thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you here next week on this last Tuesday live for the month of February, where we will do one last quick dive into something related to the thyroid. I wish you well. We'll see you. Salut.